everybody, and welcome back. Yes, this time we're going to do female body armor. I've been getting a lot of requests to do armor, and I think the best one to start with is you always like to start with the most difficult, and that would be female breast armor. So what you're going to need, I have a shopping list below for all your supplies. Link on, download that, keep going on that. But also, you're going to need a body form. And once again, a lot of people don't have a body form, and I've been looking at video tutorials out there, and the best one I found for a duct tape body form is Abby Darkstar. And I contacted her, and she was saying, by all means, please use it. You guys, check her out below, her link, and she gives you a great detailed tutorial on how to make a duct tape body form. And you guys don't have to do it for this video, because I can show you another way of doing it, but in particular, I recommend to do this because once you make a body form, I'll be making more videos in the future, and you're definitely going to need a body form to work off of. So I'd recommend going to her link, check it out, and do yourself a body form, because once you make it, everything you make will fit you perfectly. Okay? Enough of that. Let's get started. Here's my fiberglass female torso. And look, again, you can definitely do this on your own. Have a friend come over. You can wrap yourself. You don't have to use aluminum foil. Like I said, a t-shirt, plastic bag. But I only did this midsection because my armor is only going to go from this midsection here. So what I do is start with this and just tape your midsection straight around. Okay, now I have wrap tape for the midsection, but when it gets to the breast, this is fiberglass, so I can just throw tape on here. But with women, it's actually, if you actually have a real person in here, you want to keep this, to get these shapes and contours, you got to break up in small pieces. And I've always found it's easy to do an X. Get the tape on, like so. Take the crisscross. Because when making a pattern, you got to make sure you get the lowest parts, the crevices and stuff. So make an X like so. And then all from around here, you want to get a lot of short pieces. Because you want to make sure you get all these nooks and crannies here. As a matter of fact, I just seen a little corner here I missed. So some tape goes here. Small pieces, just like so. Small piece right there. Okay, what I've done with the body form, I found it easier to draw, and I just laid it down. I've done my cut lines, as you can see. Got one in the center, and I got underneath the breast, in which I'm going to go back. I have to do my registration marks, or hash marks, I like to call them, underneath there. But before I cut, I had to design, and what I used to do when I'm usually drawing pieces that I know are going to be symmetrical, you always try to freehand it. It drives me crazy, so I just kind of had a piece of paper. And I laid out what I wanted to do, and I kind of traced it, and figured out what I want to do. Have my center line. This is why I do my center line, so I can line it back up. Take my paper pen I have here, fold it in half, and cut it. As you can see, I traced it, cut it, and fold it, and now it's symmetrical. So I'll lay that right in the center, and therefore I know this is perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this onto my pattern, like so. See, now I have my pattern drawn out. And from there, I can draw the rest of it from here. And then once I know I cut this and lay this out, I can flip it and make my pattern from this. But before we go any further, as I preached to everybody else, you go ahead and make my my registration marks. I'm going to line here. So I'm going to be a hash mark here. There. There. I have my design all drawn out. Once again, you can see I did all my detail work on one side. Have my center line, and I kind of plotted everything, but I covered the whole thing because the reason I have everything on one side is because I'm going to make this armor symmetrical. So what I do is, once I transfer this all over, I'm going to do this on paper, I will be able to flip it. Matter of fact, you'll see this, you'll figure this out as I go. So once again, go ahead and cut this guy off. Like I said, I only did this section here. So go back here, cut my center line. Okay, got that. Now let's finish cutting. Alright, so you can see. Okay. There, I get this cut. This is my lower part. And for the breast I have right here, a little high, so I'm just going to take a pair of scissors real quickly. We're just going to do this. Alright, okay. Now, as you can see, this is the part I want to do is I need to, this won't lay flat, so what I have to do is I have to cut a dart in it. I think the best place to hide the seam would be right there. You go, see? There'll be a little bit of a pucker here, and that's not an issue. You could dart it, but it's going to make a lot of darts, and I just don't want to think that you're going to need to have that many darts in it, because this foam right here we can probably just heat up and pucker. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this nice and flat. Alright, right now, my little registration marks. I'm going to cut them out, a little triangle, because you're going to need these. Alright, because there's going to line up marks here. So keep cutting. Let me get all these guys. And now for my bottom piece, cut those as well too. So therefore, when I go to put this all back together, it'll line up. Get this. Now, great. I have these pieces, patterns are cut. Now I'm going to transfer these to paper. Piece, this is my paper pattern. Now I always draw on a heavy stock like butcher paper, but you don't have to do that. You can actually, I'm just, this is what I have in the shop right now. I'm kind of like lazy, but you can go out and get poster board, and it's really good to have your patterns on poster board because they'll last a lot longer and they're easier to keep, and you're less likely to damage them in storage. Okay, because this paper pattern now, there you go. This is going to serve as the right and the left as well. So for the breastplate, is the same thing. All right, there it is. Let's go ahead and cut them out. There we go. That's this part. There you go. Okay, this is where now you'll understand why I only did one side. This is the paper pattern I made for the lower half. I'm going to trace this onto my foam. Now on this particular project, on this breastplate, I'm going to use 3/8 thick L200 because I'm getting ahead of myself. Once again, when you're doing patterns, use your push pins or straight pins you want to use, because I got a little ahead of myself. There. There. Now, this is the best part. I have my paper pattern, and I flip and line up dead center where I had my line before. Therefore, I know this is going to be perfectly symmetrical. Now, just trace again, like so. Our bottom piece of the breastplate. Something just like that. Because foam is very expensive, I don't want to waste it, which I always, when I'm doing patterns, I always like to get as close as I can to the edge. I don't go straight to the edge because it kind of messes it, makes it kind of tougher to cut. But you need just a little bit of room, but not much. So you get the maximum out of your foam, because once again, this is why you only need one pattern, because this, for the other side, all I have to do is flip it. Like so. Same thing again. Tuck it in. There we go. It's all laid out. So let's start cutting. Alright, I have my trusty sharpener and my knife. Got it all nice and sharp. And what I do before I cut anything, I always try to cut the majority of it out first. It makes it easier when you're cutting, just to get all the big stuff out of the way. So I kind of just... Okay. Okay, you know what's funny? Now after I cut my breast plates out, I've realized looking at them, the 1/2 inch foam, not the 1/2 inch, but the 3/8 foam is a bit thin. So thin that when I go to do this, it's going to kind of probably would need more darts, and I don't want to do that. So I'm actually going to cut this, make this pattern, and I'm going to do this, the breast plates. I'm going to do them out of a 1/2 inch now. I have my bottom part cut out, ready to go. I have my 2 breast plates, now out of 1/2 inch. And I realize that I want to heat these guys up and shape them first. So, much like the helmet, I'm going to heat these guys up, and I want to put a little bit more of a curve on these guys. And also, my registration marks, as you can see right here, on the edge, since it's thicker, I kind of lose them, so I'm just going to take this Sharpie, like so, and I'm going to continue my registration marks straight down. Because the foam's a little thicker now, so when I'm gluing this onto the 3/8 inch thick foam, I don't want to lose my marks. Because what I want to do is I'm going to sand these edges a little bit. So now, you can see I made my registration marks on the thick side. So I'm going to heat this and shape it and sand the edges down a little bit on. I won't lose, I'll still have my direct contact. Please tell me that's making sense to you guys. If it isn't, you'll see it as I do it. Alright, here we go. Now that I have my pieces cut up for the breast, on these edges, I want to soften them a little bit. I've always found it easier. Some people like to use the Dremel, and you can do that. But I've always discovered while the pieces are flat and they're easy to work with, I like my breast pieces, and now I have them cut out. Before I glue them together and heat them up, these edges, I want to soften them a little bit. Some people like to use a Dremel, and you can do that, but I like to use sanding sticks. What I've done, I've taken a paint stir stick and put sandpaper on it with spray glue. So this is 80 grit. And I've got 80, 120, and 320. That's what I usually do with my sanding sticks. So right now I'm going to take the 80 grit sandpaper on my phone on the edge of a table here and just knock the edge down a little bit, just like this. See, around the edge. As you can see, I went through and did 80 grit on these guys. The 80. Sorry. Keep holding these up there. The 80 grit. Sanded. Now, I'm going to go back in with my 120. And it sounds a little bit crazy and retentive, anal retentive, but it really knocks the fuzzies down a little bit. So I just kind of soften it a little bit more. Because foam is very much like wood. You can start heavy and whittle it down from there. Now I got my 320. I'm going to go back over this guy. And now, this is my final pass. Once again, I always like using the edge of the table. Keep it nice and flat. So therefore, because you get everything nice and even all the way around. There's not some spots that are thicker or thinner. They're all the same thickness. And now, as you can see that edge? See how nice and smooth that is? Alright. As you can see, it went down. It's all nice and smooth. I sanded it all down. Now, last but not least, I get my good old propane torch. And I burn the edge, like so. You have to be quick about it. Like this. Nice and smooth. You got to do it fast though. Don't go slow with it, because it'll burn. So. See, now it's heat sealed, nice and perfect. So now I can heat it and glue these guys together. All right, here we go. What we're going to heat this up and shape it because it's a little bit flat right now. And before I glue all this, I want to put a curve to it. But also, see my registration marks? This is why when it was thicker, I had to continue my line because I knew I was going to do a sand the edges on. When you sand the edges off, you're going to lose your registration marks. That's why I had to continue all the way down, so I still have them. All right, now it's flat. I'm going to take my trusty heat gun, like so, right through here. Okay, get in and stretch that sucker. I like to heat up a little bit more in the back because you might be careful not to get it too hot because you can leave finger impressions on it. But now, see how it has a nice little slight curve to it? I'm going to put a little glue in the seams here. There we go. Just like that. And sometimes what you do, kind of smoosh them together a little bit, spread the glue around. But you don't have to go that thick. I like to do a really thin coat. As a matter of fact, it's quite a bit here. Let me do a little scrap foam to buff off the excess. There we go. Okay, now get the hairdryer. Okay, here we go. So when I glue the thickness of the foam, you want to make sure you stay nice and flush. You don't get any seams. Alright. Just like so. You line it up. Nice, just like that. Okay, and see? Voila, look at that. Alright, now we have the breastplates heated, curved, and glued together, and I have my lower part. We're actually going to glue these two together, so let me show you. Come on up. Okay. Come on closer. Now, so you see what I've done, my registration marks, they're really low, and I made them a little bit higher so I can keep track of them, because now I'm going to glue this to, in fact, matter of fact, let's start from the center first. I think that'd be the best way to go. So, very important, got to line these two up. So, that black mark is right there. There, got it. And you're going to hold it and come back around and see it. Ooh, careful, careful. Ah, see, it gets sticky. So, I'm going to reach up here and pull it. At that notch 6 mark, can you see that? There you go. Then come back down here. And as you can see, I have to sometimes pull and stretch because these marks are the registration marks when I lay on it. And if you feel the foam is fighting you, that's good because it means you have to definitely push and pull because it's going to go into the shape that you made your pattern on. So line these guys up perfectly. See, look at that. Very important to line these guys up. Yeah, perfect. And you come up. Alright, right. Okay, and that's the first one, see? Starting to come together. Now, I'm going to do, get a little bit of a better angle on this. That's having difficulty. Get right in there. Okay. Get these two started. The edge, get that mark. Alright, coming around. Come back. Get that guy. That. And that. There we go. Wow. Ta-da! Look at that. It's coming together. There it is. Well, that's the basic shape, and I'm going to add detail. But we're going to do that in part 2 on how to make female armor. So guys, thank you so much for joining. Be sure to subscribe below so you don't miss it. And you guys can follow me at Twitter at EvilTed40. And you can also find me on Facebook at EvilTedSmith. But guys, come back for part 2 on how to make female armor. Bye.